Part 77. The Sweetness of the Seventies. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 763. 761. Under He Tianation's instructions, Chi Xiao Yan repeatedly promised that she would not be deceived by people or things outside. At the same time, Chi Xiao Yan also regretted it very much. Why did she play such a joke with He Tian? You will suffer for what you have done. Okay, Sister Tian, I remember it, Chi Xiao Yan said. I was just joking with you just now. I love Brother Daijin so much, how could I do such a shameless thing? Okay, I believe you, He Tian smiled, seeing that you have a good attitude, I will make you what you like to eat today. Okay, Chi Xiao Yan said, Sister Tian, I want dongpo elbow. And braised beef, He Tian said, I promise you will want to eat it again after eating it. The two sisters talked and laughed all the way. When they arrived at the farmer's market, they bought chicken, duck, fish, meat, 2 elbows, and many seasonal vegetables, and put them in a cart and basket to take them home. When they got home, Huo Yingzhe and Niu Daijin were also good helpers in doing housework, helping to pick vegetables together. He Tian began to prepare various ingredients, and Chi Xiao Yan was responsible for cleaning. Several people divided the work and cooperated, and it was very fast. When Huo Jekan and Zhang Lifang came back in the evening, the house was even more lively. Qi Zhengan and Qi Zhenmin also brought Qi San's grandmother and Anna to have dinner together. The men had one table, and they wanted to drink. The women had one table, which was bigger because there were 5 more children. Village Chief Qi came here mainly to reminisce about the past, and Niu Daijin and Chi Xiao Yan came mainly to plan to go to Yanjing in the future. Although everyone worked hard in the past few years, they did make money. The next day, He Jingyu and Qi Shuliang accompanied Village Chief Qi and Old Man Qi to go fishing. After 2 days, He Jingyu, Qi Shuliang and others had to leave. He Tian and Huo Yingzhe saw them off with their children. He Daodu had a very happy summer vacation in Nanji. Here, there is no heavy homework, no strict requirements from parents, just a happy summer vacation and nephews and nieces. Although the 2 little kids are a bit annoying, they are also very fun. Uncle, Huo Ruiman held He Daodu's hand and stopped him from leaving. Don't go, okay. He Daodu turned to look at his parents and grandmother, then shook his head and said, I still have school to go to. I'll come to see you when I'm on vacation, okay? Go to school, Huo Ruiman rolled his eyes. My mother is a teacher. Let her teach you, and then you can go to school. He Daodu scratched his head. Learning is different. Don't bully Ruwa in the future. I'll send you and Ruwa gifts in the future. If you don't listen, there will be no the gift. Well, don't bully, you have to send me more gifts, Huo Ruiman said. I must send it? Oh, Huo Ruwa lazily said. In fact, he usually just let her little sister-in-law cares about her body. Goodbye. He Tian hugs his loved ones one by one. Sister sweet, go back, it's too hot outside. The group went directly to Grandma Chi San's house, hoping that the lively atmosphere there could dilute everyone's longing. When they arrived at home, Grandma Chi San was preparing to make dumplings. With so many people, everyone helped together, talked and laughed, and it really alleviated the sadness of parting. When Village Chief Qi came, he handed over the factory affairs to Qi Shuming, so that they could stay in Nanji for a while longer, so they decided to go back a week later. Aunt San, when are you going back? Chi Dazu said. If you and Uncle Er want to go back, be sure to send a telegram and I will pick you up in the county town. Okay, Grandma Chi San said, I will go back in the fall to eat peaches. Well, okay, Aunt San. Village Chief Qi said, I will save the best peaches for you and Uncle Er at that time. You are thoughtful. Grandma Chi San smiled. I really miss home after being out for so long. When you go back this time, I want you to go back with me. After listening, Old Man Chi nodded and said, I miss home too. Grandma Chi-san was slightly startled, and she also understood that this place is the best, but it always feels that it is not the familiar place. They are familiar with the place, the familiar home, said, okay, Zhengan and Zhenmin have something to do here, we can't help, let them stay in Nanji, and we will go back to Kijia village. Okay, we are in good health, don't worry about them. Old Man Chi agreed. Dazu, when are you going home? I still want to go shopping in Nanji. A week later Secretary Chi said, by the way, buy some rare things for Hongyu and grandchildren, so that I won't go back and the children ask me for gifts, and I will be empty-handed, which will not look good. That's right, let's buy some too. Old Man Chi said, there are many children in the village, and if they come to their house and call for their great-grandfather and great-grandmother, he will feel embarrassed if he doesn't give them some candy. Qi Zhengan and Qi Zhenmin heard that their grandmother was going back to her hometown, and they were a little worried. No, I have to go to persuade grandma. I can't leave for the time being. I can't go back with them. I'm worried. Qi Zhenmin said, brother, you also come with me to persuade grandma. Qi Zhengan pulled his sister and said, we are young people and it doesn't matter where we are. But my grandmother and my second grandfather have lived in Kijia village all their lives. If they leave there for a long time, they will miss it. Then let grandma go like this, Qi Zhenmin asked, aren't you worried? Compared with our worries, I think it is more important for grandma and grandpa to be happy. Qi Zhengan said, in Kijia village, they can go out for a walk and take a walk at will. There are people they know everywhere. But in Nanji, apart from Tian, the people in the Tian family, the grandmother and the second grandfather, can only stay at home and are very bored. Qi Zhenmin thought about it and felt that his brother was right and said, okay, let's send grandma back and let Aunt Lu and her family live in our home, and let them take care of grandma and grandpa. It's okay, then give them more wages to take care of grandma. At the same time, grandma and second grandfather can live comfortably and happily. Qi Zhengan said, as for the two of us, we can take a few days off every month to visit grandma. It's considered filial piety. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 764. 762. The brother and sister discussed it and agreed to let their grandmother and second grandfather leave. They understand that it is not what they think is good, but what grandma and second grandfather think is good, so respecting the true thoughts of their elders is the most filial thing. Village Chief Qi spent a few days in Nanji. He Tian and Qi Zhengan helped buy a lot of things. At the same time, the couple also bought things for them. There are Qi Zhengan, Qi Zhenmin following, Niu Daijin, Qi Xiaoyan, Village Chief Qi and others to pick up things, so even if I buy a lot of things, I can still carry them. A telegram had been sent in advance, stating the date of the train. Qi Xiaoyan's second brother Qi Rongjun would pick them up after they got off the train, so they would not be tired. Within just 1 week, he Tian sent Grandma Qi-san away again. Hey, I really understand one thing, there is no such thing as a feast that lasts forever. He Tian said, everyone goes around in circles, back and forth, and they will always be separated. If you think about it, in the end, only husband and wife can support each other. Yes, Huo Yingji said. He would have to leave in 10 days. Tian would be even more sad at that time. Huo Yingji didn't want to say goodbye to He Tian too early. When I got home, I suddenly felt that the house had become deserted. Huo Ruwa and Huo Ruimin also lacked interest and were not as lively as before. Ruimin, Ruwa, you see the turtle is waiting for you at the door. I guess he misses you. Go and play with the little turtle, okay, He Tian said with a smile, calming down and not wanting his emotions affect children. The two children's eyes lit up when they saw the little spinner turtle shaking its head, and they rushed to get out of their parents' arms and go find the little spinner turtle to play with. After diverting the children's attention, He Tian went inside. "Brother Yingzhe, you look after the children outside, I'm going to take a nap." He Tian did a simple wash, she was a little tired and wanted to sleep. Huo Yingzhe kissed He Tian's forehead and said, "Go, I'm here, you have a good rest." He Tian went into the house to rest. Although there was some noise outside, she fell asleep quickly. During this period, Huo Yingzhe came over quietly to check that He Tian's head was not hot and that he had no fever. He sat on the edge of the bed and looked at He Tian with pity. She was very happy to have relatives come during this time, but at the same time, He Tian was tired. "Have a good rest." Huo Yingzhe came out and just sat at the stone table when he received the spiritual message from the little spin turtle. "Master, at 2 o'clock this morning, there were 2 extraordinary humans flying over our yard." The little spinner turtle said, "There was a person's aura among them, which I am familiar with. It seems to be Huashan. Huashan has been here before, and the little turtle can remember his breath." Huashan, Huo Yingzhe frowned. After several years, they finally couldn't hold it anymore. "The main reason they came here this time is to check me out," said the little spinner turtle. "Maybe it's the aura on my body that attracted their attention. In 10 days, you will be leaving, and I'm worried that they will be interested in me. It's not good for the madam and the young master." Huo Yingzhe listened but did not speak. After a while, he softly said, "Suangi, don't worry about this matter. Since they are here to find you, they should not touch ordinary people at will. If possible, you test their reality first." "Okay," little spin turtle said, "I feel that they can't beat me." The little spinner turtle is full of confidence. "Don't be careless. Let me first think about what to do to keep these people away from our home quietly and not disturb our peaceful life." Huo Yingzhe said, "What should come will eventually come." Kui Ying, Huashan pursued Nanshi, was admitted to Nanshi University, and got along with their family. Then Kui Hong became a university professor. Kui Ying and Huashan went to work in a museum. They have spent a lot of time and energy to achieve some goals. If there is no progress, I would be sorry for their hard work and waiting for so many years. "Yes, master," the little turtle agreed and continued to play with the children. He Tian slept until lunch before getting up. The food was cooked by Huo Yingzhe and it tasted pretty good. He Tian ate 3 small bowls of rice and a lot of vegetables. She finally regained consciousness and her eyes became brighter. These days, He Tian is busy greeting relatives and has no time to look at the account books. Fortunately, I had accountant Liang, who made the accounts in the store neat and organized. He Tian checked it and found that there was no problem. Accountant Liang attaches great importance to her current job. Not only is the salary high, which solves her difficulties, but the work content is also relatively simple. She just does accounting, filing taxes, and reviewing the accuracy of the data. A day's work can be completed in one morning, and the afternoon is relatively free. The shop's income has stabilized, various management aspects have been matured, and work efficiency is very high. I believe that in the near future, He Tian will go to Yanjing in person to repay the remaining loan. Zhang Mengmeng was very surprised when she saw He Tian coming over. She earned a bonus of 500 yuan here during the summer vacation, which was more than what her family earned in a year. "Teacher He, school starts in half a month, and you can hear Teacher He giving lessons," Zhang Mengmeng said with a smile. "She has completed 1 year of college and will graduate in 2 years. As long as she works, she can have a stable job." "Well, I really miss being a student," He Tian said. "By the way, you are here and haven't been home for the whole summer. Do I need to ask for leave for you to go back?" Zhang Mengmeng shook her head and said, "I won't go back. I can earn 8 or 9 yuan a day here. My home is far away, and it takes several days to come back. It's not worth it. I will go back during the Chinese New Year." She has already inquired about it? During the Chinese New Year, the shop has a 10-day holiday, so that it will not delay her usual work and make money. The conditions at home are not good, so sending more money to her family is more practical than sending her back home. Okay, just think about it yourself. He Tian smiled, bought some things and left. Zhang Mengmeng sent He Tian away and started greeting business again. Privately, He Tian also found Sun Sihao to get to know Zhang Mengmeng. Sun Sihao praised Zhang Mengmeng more than once, saying that she was a sweet-talking and diligent employee. Otherwise, she would not have been able to get more bonuses than regular employees as a temporary worker. He Tian inspected 2 shops in one day and was very satisfied. The remaining 9 days were her and Huo Yingjia's alone time, spending time with Huo Yingjia. Huo Yingjia did not come with He Tian, but went to see what Kui Heng and Huashan wanted to do. Huashan and Kui Ying were in the yard, eating with Kui Heng and Kui Yang. Kui Yang is Kui Ying's father and Huashan's master. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Xing Cao. Chapter 765. 763. 4 people are talking about the strange things they encountered this morning. There is indeed something strange about that courtyard, Kui Yang said. I wanted to enter that courtyard to have a look, but I couldn't. It seems that there is a special formation. Kui Ying was stunned and asked, Father, can't you get in? Brother Huashan and I used to go to the yard often and were not blocked. Oh, Kui Yang was surprised and looked at Huashan, but is it true? Huashan nodded and said, really, Yingmei and I often went to his house for dinner before, but we didn't fly there, but walked in. We restrained all the auras on our bodies and acted like ordinary people, so we could go in. I guess, maybe the reason. After hearing this, Kui Yang narrowed his eyes and remained silent for a long time. Kui Ying has been getting along with He Tian in the past few years and has regarded He Tian as a good friend, so she does not want her father to be enemies with He Tian and Huo Yingjia's family. Father, can we live in peace with them? Kui Ying whispered. I have been with them for several years and found that they are good people. I don't want to hurt them. Kui Yang and Kui Heng looked at each other, then smiled and said, I came here just to visit you, not to be enemies with them. Besides, we don't know the origin of the deal yet, so we can't act rashly. When Kui Ying heard this, she breathed a sigh of relief and said, Father, I actually quite like the life in this world. There are joys and sorrows here, intrigues, and mutual help. I want to stay here with Brother Huashan and experience the world of mortals. Oh, Kui Yang listened and nodded, your mother and I also met in this world back then. It's a pity. Kui Heng's eyes lit up, as if he had other ideas. However, he was worried that Kui Ying and Huashan were young and could not hide their words, so he did not say anything. When you have the chance to talk to your elder brother, maybe they can get another chance. Everyone understands what this pity means. Although their practitioners cannot live forever, as their practice deepens, their lifespans become longer and longer. Kui Yang is already 88 years old, but he looks only about 50 years old. According to his cultivation power, he can live to be at least 150 or 200 years old. However, his wife died at the age of 60. This is the pain in his heart that cannot be healed. Okay, it's good that you two keep practicing, and you will be able to support each other and grow old together in the future, Kui Yang said softly. His pain cannot be let through by his daughter again. Fortunately, they are all practitioners, and their original decision was not wrong. Thank you, Father, Kui Ying said with a smile. Father, our work in Nanchi is very good. How about you stay here and stay with us for a while? In addition, my brother Huashan and I are already married, so I would also like to invite a few. How about having a meal at home with a friend? Invite Huo Yingzhe, He Tian, Kui Hong asked. He knew that his niece had a good relationship with He Tian over the years. Yes, but there are Huang Jingli and his wife, and Qin Li. Kui Ying said, we can also observe them openly. If there is no problem, I hope you don't touch them. After all, they are good people. Yes, Kui Yang nodded. What we in the Xiaoao lineage pursue is to be fearless, follow the laws of nature, and then increase our cultivation and longevity. We are not like other factions who have evil intentions and use any means to achieve their goals. That's good, Kui Ying nodded. You can't do anything big this way, but you can still live comfortably. Kui Hong squinted his eyes and said nothing, making it difficult to see the expression in his eyes. Okay, I'll go with Brother Huashan to invite them and Huang Jingli and his wife today, Kui Ying said with a smile. Brother Huashan and I have always dined at their house, so I want to entertain them well this time. Okay, Kui Yang said, if you have enough money, I have it here. When they were on the mountain, they all ate their own food. When they came down, if they had no money, they would just dig out a good medicinal plant from the medicine field and sell it for a lot of money, so they were not short of money to spend. Father, we work and get paid, Huashan said. Uncle, father, you have tea, we will go out, invite guests, and buy groceries on the way. Well, you go ahead, Kui Hong nodded. When they arrived at Huashan, Kui Ying left and the courtyard was quiet. If you have something to say, just say it, Kui Yang said slowly while drinking the tea he brought from the mountain. This brother must have something going on, otherwise he wouldn't be so quiet. Kui Hong smiled and said, brother, I do have something to do. That He Tian is just an ordinary person and has no problems. But that Huo Yingzhe has a problem. What's the problem? Please tell me carefully, Kui Yang said. I also want to know what happened to you in the world these years. I once used my qi to test Huo Yingzhe, but I didn't expect it to be bounced back. I couldn't test anything, Kui Hong said, and at that time, Huo Yingzhe looked at me as if he had some special meaning. That look pointed directly at people's hearts. I still can't forget it. Kui Yang was stunned and asked, in that case, when Ying Ying invites guests, I can't test it anymore. It doesn't matter if Huo Yingzhe is an ordinary person, but if not, let's test it again and again. It will definitely annoy the master, and then the relationship will not be successful and it will become a feud. Yes, Brother Kui Hong said, if possible, we can talk to him and show our friendship. Yeah, Kui Yang nodded. Okay, let's find an opportunity later. Let's talk about Huashan. Kui Ying went to He Tian's house. He Tian was washing and drying her hair in the yard. He Tian, we are already married. We are in Nanji. I would like to invite you and your wife, Huang Jingli and Qin Li. We have a good relationship for 3 years in college. Let's have dinner together, Kui Ying said with a smile. It depends on your day. Do you have time? I can do it anytime, anyway, school hasn't started yet, He Tian said. By the way, I want to congratulate you on your happy wedding first. I also think that you and Huashan are getting married soon, and I have prepared wedding gifts for you. Kui Ying's eyes lit up and she nodded. I really want to see what kind of gift it is. Haha, I didn't invite us to dinner, so I won't give it to you, He Tian smiled and said, whenever we invite us to a wedding banquet, I'll show it to you. I'm so anxious for you. He Tian, you are so bad, Kui Ying wrinkled her nose and said angrily. So sad, He Tian said arrogantly, raising her small chin. Haha, actually you are very good too, Kui Ying said with a smile. I didn't have many friends since I was a child. It was rare for me to be an educated youth, so I made a few good friends, especially you and Huang Jingli. Let's be friends forever, okay? The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 766. 764. Of course, he Tian said, I don't have many friends, but once we become friends, I will treat each other sincerely. After so many years, you must have felt my sincerity. More than sincerity, Kui Ying pinched He Tian's small chin. If I were a man, I would definitely marry a beautiful girl like you. Just as He Tian and Kui Ying were joking, there were two discordant dry cough sounds. Ahem. Ahem. He Tian and Kui Ying turned around and saw Huo Yingzhe and Huashan coming in. Kui Ying looked embarrassed, as if she had done something wrong. Ying, it's time for us to go to Huang Jingli's house, Huashan reminded. He originally wanted to have dinner at He Tian's house, but when he saw his wife teasing He Tian, he had better leave quickly. When he saw it, he felt uncomfortable. Secondly, the aura that Huo Yingzhe beside him exuded just now almost made him breathless. If Huo Yingzhe gets angry and gets into a fight, it seems like he can't beat Huo Yingzhe. Oh, Kui Ying nodded repeatedly. Tian, I'm going to Huang Jingli's place. You're not eating here anymore, He Tian asked to stay, not paying attention to Huo Yingzhe's expression and eyes. Ahem, Huo Yingzhe coughed twice more. Remind He Tian that he is unhappy and don't keep Kui Ying. Huashan will eat at home. Kui Ying shrank her head, not daring to look at Huo Yingzhe. If you don't want to eat, you have to invite Huang Jingli and Qin Li. It's probably too late, Kui Ying said, then I'm going. Tomorrow night, I'll prepare well at home so that you can have a taste of my craftsmanship. Okay, He Tian smiled and watched the two leave. After they left, He Tian turned to look at Huo Yingzhe and said, Brother Yingzhe, Kui Ying and Hua are here so rarely, why are you driving them away? It is light to drive them away. If it had been anyone else, he would have taken action long ago. That damn girl Kui Ying actually touched his wife's chin and teased her. Huo Yingzhe turned his head and didn't answer. He Tian was stunned, and seemed to understand that Huo Yingzhe was angry. She ran to Huo Yingzhe's front door and said, Brother Yingzhe, we were joking just now. If she were a man, would she marry you? Huo Yingzhe asked. He Tian nodded, and seeing Huo Yingzhe's expression, he quickly explained, but she is not a man, she was just joking, we are adults, there is no need to care about these unrealistic jokes, okay? Then don't make such jokes in the future. You and I are destined to be together for the rest of our lives, Huo Yingzhe said firmly, even if she is a man in the next life, she will not have a share. Ah! This life is not over yet, why are you thinking about the next life? Huo Yingzhe was good at everything. There must have been situations like this. No matter whether it was true or not, or a joke, he would show stinginess and sensitivity. Even a little childish. Yes, only childishness can be used to describe Huo Yingzhe. Okay, I will be with you for the rest of my life, He Tian said. Huo Yingzhe was startled by He Tian's actions at first, but he was happy to see He Tian's initiative. Okay, are you still angry? He Tian smiled and looked at Huo Yingzhe with a bright smile. Huo Yingzhe's ears turned red and her face was a little red. She didn't answer, but told her with actions that if she wanted him not to be angry, she would have to pay more. In just a blink of an eye, He Tian and Huo Yingzhe's positions were reversed. He Tian whispered, Brother Yingzhe, let's go out, the child is crying. No need, Huo Yingzhe said softly, if you cry, you won't cry anymore. He Tian raised her head, met Huo Yingzhe's eyes, glared at Huo Yingzhe, and said, that's your daughter and son. So what? Huo Yingzhe smiled evilly, today, I will first love my daughter, my son's mother. You. He Tian still wanted to say. I'll kiss you thousands of times and I won't get tired of it. Kissing you feels like spring. I don't know how long it took, but the door curtain was opened. Shame, Dad, kiss Mom, Huo Ruiman's clear voice ruined the charming atmosphere inside. I want to see it too. Huo Ruwa ran this way with his short legs. He Tianation's face was red and she didn't dare to look up. Huo Yingja turned around and said, "When we go out to play, Mom got sand in her eyes." Liar. Huo Ruimin retorted, "Sand got into the eyes, why did Dad look for it in Mom's mouth?" This rebuttal is very powerful. Ruimin, Ruwa, come here quickly, I have delicious snacks here, Grandma Wang said quickly. Now only delicious snacks can attract the two children. Eat some snacks, you can continue kissing. Sure enough, Huo Ruimin turned around and ran away, followed by Huo Ruwa's little tail. Finally left. He Tiantian and Huo Yingja breathed a sigh of relief at the same time. Oh my god. What a pestering little devil. Okay, let's go. Huo Yingja wanted to continue. No more in broad daylight. He Tiantian refused. What if the child came over after eating snacks? Okay, Huo Yingja let go of He Tiantian, I really don't want to leave. But I have to leave. Just think of it as a farewell than a wedding. He Tiantian comforted, look, our two lives are very stable in love, and our careers are gradually developing. It's very fulfilling, don't you think? You are very fulfilled, Huo Yingja said sadly, I am alone there. After work, I go back to my room. It's very boring. He Tiantian thought for a while, her eyes lit up, and she said, I decided to write you a letter one day, how about that? Okay, Huo Yingja nodded, don't be too long. If you are very busy, don't write. I don't want you to be tired. How can I be so tired when I write letters to my dear brother Yingja? He Tiantian said with a smile, her tone was sweet, and her words were even more sweet. For Huo Yingja, who has devoted his entire life to doting on his wife, this is sweet honey. The sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 767. 765. He Tiantian carefully prepared the gift. This was no ordinary gift, but a wedding gift for Kui Ying and Huashan. This is a couple watch. Although it is not the expensive kind set with diamonds, it is very delicate and elegant. The men's model is slightly larger, the women's model is slightly smaller and delicate. He Tiantian bought this from an overseas Chinese store before. The price is not expensive, but it is really good. It is very good to give as a gift. Huo Yingja saw He Tiantian put two watches in a small box and tied them with ribbons, so he asked, is this a wedding gift for Kui Ying and Huashan? Yes, He Tiantian nodded, how is it? Very good, Huo Yingja said, is it too expensive? He Tiantian looked at it carefully again and said, it's okay. You and I bought this at the overseas Chinese store. It's not expensive. Besides, they are getting married and we don't have to pay for the gift, so the gift can't be too bad. Okay, Huo Yingja nodded, you make the decision. In Huo Yingja's heart, although he couldn't say he disliked Kui Ying and those people in Huashan, he couldn't say he liked them either. After all, no one liked someone who often looked up and down in their yard. However, He Tiantian knew nothing. Forget it, it's better not to know, lest she would be frightened if she knew. Huo Yingja also wanted to explore the other party's reality and want to know what the other party was thinking. When the time came, He Tiantian handed the child to Grandma Wang and followed Huo Yingja to Kui Ying's home in Huashan. After they graduated from college, they bought a nice yard not far from the museum. Although it was not big, it was very complete and had many rooms. They could just buy some furniture and move in. When we arrived at the entrance of the alley, we happened to meet Qin Li and Yuan Ke. He Tiantian, what a coincidence, why don't you go to Kui Ying's house too? Qin Li said with a smile, it was rare to see He Tiantian and she was very excited. He Tiantian nodded, yes, we are also going to Kui Ying's house. Seeing that you are here together, I guess good things are coming soon. This is a make-up wedding banquet hosted by Kui Ying and Huashan. Qin Li brought Yuan Ke here because the relationship between the two has been settled. Otherwise, Kui Ying and Yuanchen K have a normal relationship, and it is impossible to invite Yuanchen K over. Qin Li blushed, glanced at Yuanchen K beside her, and said, we just got engaged last month. Oh, congratulations, He Tian smiled. When you get married, tell me and I'll go have a wedding banquet. Okay, the wedding invitation will be delivered by then. Yuanchen K smiled and said, He Tian is still so good looking, but she has no fate with him. If I could get to know He Tian earlier, maybe I could get together with He Tian. Huo Yingzhe looked Yuanchen K up and down and squinted his eyes slightly. This man's eyes were still so dishonest. I really want to dig it out and put dog eyes on her. Just as he was talking, Huang Jingli and Wu Yaoliang came over. Oh, why don't you go in? Are you standing here waiting for me? Huang Jingli said with a smile. She has a good job and family, and she looks good. He Tian covered her mouth with a smile and said, yeah, I'm all waiting for you. If squad leader Huang and squad leader Wu don't come, we won't dare to go in. Xiao Tianzi, I love hearing this, Huang Jingli said with a smile, holding He Tian's arm and pulling Qin Li forward, regardless of the expressions of the three men behind her who were dumbfounded. Seeing that the person was gone, Wu Yaoliang sighed softly, I have a wife who is out of line, what should I do? Huo Yingzhe glanced at Wu Yaoliang, who was showing off his affection, and said with a smile, stop showing off, who doesn't know that you have a good wife, but you are showing off by saying sarcastic things in front of us. Yes, squad leader Wu Yuanchen K said, just have fun secretly in your heart. If you do it too obviously, it won't be authentic. Hee, Wu Yaoliang smiled, you guys saw it? We are not blind, how could we not see it? Squad leader Wu, Huo Yingzhe said contemptuously, let's go, they have gone far. The three men had to follow. Entering the courtyard, Kui Ying was talking to He Tian, Huang Jingli and Qin Li. Come on, come and sit inside, Kui Ying said, by the way, let me introduce you, this is my father, and that is my brother-in-law. Father, brother-in-law, this is my classmate He Tian, Huang Jingli, Qin Li, followed by their partners, Huo Yingzhe, Wu Yaoliang, and Yuanchen K. Kui Yang looked at a few people and said with a smile, hello everyone, it's my honor to take time out of my busy schedule to come here. You guys chat first, I'll go to the kitchen to take a look, there are still 2 dishes that haven't been cooked. Dad, you don't have to go. You and brother Huashan can greet the guests in the yard, Kui Ying said with a smile. Tian, Jingli, Qin Li, you drink tea first, you'll be fine in a while. Well, okay, you go ahead and do your work first, we will take care of you ourselves. He Tian smiled and asked Kui Ying to go and do her work, and she would go over to help after a while. After hearing this, Kui Yang invited everyone to sit down and drink tea. Kui Yang's eyes unconsciously looked at Huo Yingzhe a few more times, but he did not dare to use his energy and could only rely on his naked eyes. Huo Yingzhe only had a reserved demeanor in his movements. This kind of demeanor is not simply arrogance, but the kind of aura that hides in the actions and looks down upon the world. In the eyes of outsiders, Huo Yingzhe just doesn't like to talk, or is arrogant and reserved. But Kui Yang looked at it and didn't think so. Huo Yingzhe raised his eyes and glanced at Kui Yang. Kui Yangzhe didn't know why, but he suddenly turned his eyes away, not daring to look directly at Huo Yingzhe. At this time, Kui Yang was extremely sure that this was definitely not an ordinary person, but an extraordinary person. However, after receiving news from his apprentice and daughter, Huo Yingzhe was just an ordinary person, not practicing, or had something special about him, but Huo Yingzhe gave them an indescribable feeling. Standing in front of Huo Yingzhe, it was like being peered into by Huo Yingzhe. Very good, he is self-aware and did not spy on him with his meager spiritual thoughts. Otherwise, don't blame him for fighting back. Huashan was a little worried, but felt relieved when he saw that Huo Yingja didn't do anything special. The master was always smiling, and everyone was in a harmonious manner. Whatever happened, we would talk about it later after everyone got to know each other. He Tian couldn't sit still, so she went to the kitchen to help. Professor Kui, please go out and I'll help. He Tian smiled and said, since it's hard to talk while sitting down, it's better to come over and help. Huang Jingli and Qin Li also followed. When Kui Hong saw several women coming, he could only smile and said, then I'll trouble you. Kui Ying was not polite and said, Uncle, they are all my classmates. We are talking and cooking at the same time. We are a little uncomfortable with you here. Okay, then I won't disturb you. Kui Hong smiled and walked out. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 768. 766. Kui Ying smiled, a little embarrassed. I invite you to eat, and I want you to come and help. Kui Ying said, I'm sorry. I wanted to eat out, but I didn't book a table. There are only a few decent restaurants now, but they have no seats. Okay, we are classmates, so don't be polite. He Tian said, just get together for a home-cooked meal. We can also get together and talk. Sister Jingli, Qin Li, what do you think? Isn't that the case? Yes, I just want to come and get together. Huang Jingli said, we have graduated. Unlike when we were in school, we could see each other every day. It is not easy to meet once now. After everyone graduates, they go their separate ways. I try to keep in touch, let's see if we can get together at the end of the year. Even if students from other places can't come, our classmates in Nanchi can also get together. Okay, I like the class reunion. Qin Li nodded, I will organize it with you then. As for Tian, I guess she is very busy and may not be free. He Tian smiled and said, I won't have time to prepare at that time, so I will sponsor the expenses and food. How about that? If you don't have time, just pay. He Tian is very happy. I'm just waiting for your words. Huang Jingli said, when the time comes, everyone can go to the school and find a place to eat. If it's an AA system, that's fine, but some people with poor financial conditions I don't want to come. I have to pay for it, so Tian can't pay for it alone. I'll also pay for it. Qin Li also said. Kui Ying smiled and said, haha, you all contribute money, and I have plenty of money, so I can contribute some. Since they insisted, He Tian did not refuse and said, okay, you do what you can. I open a shop and I have extra money. Boss I haven't seen you for 3 days. It's really impressive. Qin Li smiled and bowed to He Tian, in the future, please ask Boss He to support my little sister. He Tian said proudly, easy to say, easy to say. They are all relatively close friends, so He Tian can't be timid. Originally, Kui Ying and her family had already completed most of the work, but now with 3 helpers, they were faster and finished it in a short time. Because it's summer, it's cool to eat outside. Kui Hong lit something in a pot, and the scent of pine filled the yard, which drove away the mosquitoes. Men sit at one table and women sit at another table. When men drink, they talk about different topics than women, which is just right. At the table, Kui Yang and Kui Hong entertained Huo Yingja, Wu Yaoliang and Yuan Ke very attentively. Huo Yingja understood what was going on, but Wu Yaoliang and Yuan Ke were quite flattered. Firstly, Kui Hong is a professor in the school, and students are naturally cautious in front of teachers. Secondly, the other party is an elder, so they are a little surprised by his enthusiasm. But think about it, this is Kui Ying and Huashan's replacement wedding banquet. As elders, there is nothing wrong with being more enthusiastic. During the dinner, they talked about their respective jobs, the problems they encountered at work, and how they solved them. There were some things that couldn't be solved, so I spoke up and listened to other people's suggestions. For some problems, I actually found ways to deal with them, which was of great benefit. Because everyone is working in different jobs and there is no interest relationship, there is no need to worry about speaking out. Especially Wu Yaoliang and Yuan Qingke learned something. As for Huo Yingzhe, when others are talking, he sometimes adds a sentence, but often this sentence is the finishing touch, so even if Huo Yingzhe says less, he will still get everyone's attention. Huo Yingzhe's work is very confidential. There are two people protecting Huo Yingzhe at the door, which shows its importance. Qin Li, when are you and Yuan Qingke getting married? Kui Ying said, I hope it won't be at the end of the year or during the Chinese New Year. In that case, Brother Huashan and I may not be in Nanxi and we won't be able to attend your wedding. Qin Li blushed slightly and said with a smile, we just got engaged, and the wedding day is scheduled for the 6th day of February next year. It's a good day. You are probably back from your hometown for the New Year, so you should be able to catch up. You should come over then. Ah. It's necessary, Kui Ying said, there are not many classmates in Nanxi. If we keep in touch in the future, we will definitely go to your wedding. He Tian listened and said, okay, we will definitely go and join in the fun when the time comes, and be happy. Huang Jingli smiled and said, you can just be a bride in peace. Thank you very much, Qin Li said, it's such an honor to be good friends with you. Especially He Tian. Although Qin Li had her cousin Wang Bing before, she was a little scared when she faced He Tian again. However, after getting along with her in depth, she found that He Tian was easy to get along with. When my cousin Wang Bing ended up like that, she brought it all on herself and didn't know how to repent. Since He Tian was not wrong, why did she have a falling out with He Tian because of that ungrateful cousin? Everyone was talking and laughing, and suddenly Kui Ying said, by the way, monitor, I met Lin Xiru a few days ago, and there was a man standing next to me. That man seems to be Li Mingkai. Ah, Huang Jingli and He Tian were both stunned. How could they get together? I know Lin Xiru is the one who threatened our squad leader, but who is Li Mingkai? Qin Li asked. Privately, she checked Huang Jingli through some of her father's connections. Lin Xiru found out that He Tian was not telling the truth. Wrong, it was Lin Xiru who had been bullying Huang Jingli. The things Lin Xiru did showed his despicableness. The educated youths who were sent to Kijia village with us are good-looking people, but their character is a bit poor. Kui Ying was straightforward and made a direct evaluation of Li Mingkai, which was quite appropriate. After hearing this, He Tian nodded and said, birds of a feather flock together, and people divide into groups. Well, although Li Mingkai didn't do anything too extreme in Kijia village before, he was able to walk with Lin Xiru. Let's stay away. Who knows? What outrageous things can people do? Hey, Huang Jingli sneered, Accountant Chi has been suppressing Li Mingkai and doesn't want him to come back from the countryside. But how can such a shrewd person like Li Mingkai stay peacefully in the countryside? It's easier to move back now than before, and he can't, you know what means were used. Tian is right, he is not a kind person to get involved with Lin Xiru. Brother Huashan and I will tell you when we saw it. You must be prepared, Kui Ying said, in case Lin Xiru resurfaces and comes to cause trouble again. Huang Jingli smiled and said, I used to be afraid, but now I am not afraid. The only reason I have is my background as a landlord. Now that I am not judged by my background, I am not afraid of her. If she comes to provoke me, I will definitely deal with her well. The Sweetness of the 70s. Author, Chi Xing Cao. Chapter 769. 767. Seeing that Huang Jingli was in good condition, The three of them stopped worrying. If you need help, you can just ask, Qin Li said. I can't help with big things, but I can help with small things. Qin Li's uncle has some connections with the local police station and can rescue Huang Jingli. Yes, I will, thank you, Huang Jingli said. It's good to have friends. When you encounter difficulties, you can have someone to help. Back in Kijia village, although the people around her were good, she didn't have the courage to ask for help, and the situation at that time was different from now, so she could only be threatened by Lin Xiru. It's different now. She, Huang Jingli, has survived the most difficult days and is finally no longer afraid of Huang Jingli's threat. Now she can live a good life. A vicious and cunning person like Lin Xiru has evil intentions and is destined to not have a good life. Let's see how Lin Xiru takes the wrong path step by step and heads towards the abyss. After dinner, He Tian gave the gift to Kui Ying privately and chatted with everyone, but it was getting late, so Huo Yingzhe and He Tian said goodbye and left. The other two couples also said goodbye. After He Tian left, Kui Ying took out the gifts from the three people and opened them one by one. Huang Jingli presented a set of fine tableware, 8 bowls, 8 plates, 2 soup bowls, and 2 oval plates for fish. Qin Li had a radio. The radio at this time was a bit big and didn't receive many stations, but it was still clear. When she opened the small box sent by He Tian, Kui Ying's eyes lit up and she said, "Senior brother, the gift Tian gave us is very expensive, a pair of men's and women's watches. Ah, it is quite valuable. When we have the opportunity in the future, we will go to the mountain to pick a good ginseng and give it to her." Hua Shan said, "Courtesy should be reciprocated, and you cannot just accept gifts from others without giving them to others." Although He Tian may not care about this, they can't help but care. "Well, that's it," Kui Ying said. "By the way, let's ask my father and uncle if they saw anything." "Okay, go and ask," Hua Shan said. He had a feeling that Huo Yingzhe was very mysterious. This feeling is definitely not something ordinary people can exude. Kui Ying, Huashan arrived at the house. Kui Yang and Kui Hung spoke in a low voice with serious expressions. "Father, brother-in-law, what's going on?" Kui Ying asked. "I don't want to become enemies with Huo Yingzhe and He Tian. They are friends I rarely meet since I came into the world." Kui Yang looked at his daughter, dumbfounded. Kui Hung smiled and waved, asking Kui Ying Huashan to sit down and talk. "Don't be anxious. Let's talk slowly," Kui Hung said. He also observed Huo Yingzhe closely today and found some clues. "Kui Ying, Huashan, sit down." Kui Yang said earnestly, "You have done a good job and can become friends with Huo Yingzhe. I hope you can be friends with them in the future and don't do anything that harms the interests of Huo Yingzhe and He Tian." "Ah," Kui Ying was stunned. "Father, I hope so, but can you tell me the reason why you and your uncle changed?" "Hey," Kui Yang sighed, "although I don't want to admit it, I can feel that Huo Yingzhe is definitely not something we can afford to offend, not only because of his earthly status, but also because of his spiritual consciousness. We can feel, but dare not touch him. He is an existence countless levels above us." Taoism gradually declined, even to the point of disappearing. There are fewer and fewer people practicing Buddhism in the world. There are only a few hundred in the entire Huaxia kingdom. Some cannot escape the world, and some, even if they are born, they will support agents from the front and open a martial arts hall or a traditional Chinese medicine hall. "Oh," Kui Ying nodded, "I remembered it. I originally wanted to get along well with them." "Brother, can we talk to Huo Yingzhe alone and learn from him?" Kui Hung asked. Over the years, he has been trying to find cultivation techniques and methods, but he has not gained anything in these years. Because the previous leader of the Xiaoao sect was arrogant, he competed with another sect, Kunlun Hall, which cost a lot of manpower and material resources in the sect, resulting in a lose-lose situation for both parties. But that was a long time ago, a matter of 60 years. Ever since the eldest brother became the leader, he has been hiding from the world and not paying attention to worldly affairs. Even for the sake of experience, they would not get too involved in worldly matters, so they, the Xiaoao sect, could gradually regain their strength. The vitality here is only a total of 12 people from Xiaoao sect up and down, and only these people are true practitioners. The eldest brother became the leader at a very young age because the previous leader and his senior brothers all died in the war. There are no disciples of the previous leader in the sect, so the eldest brother, a disciple with poor qualifications, can still be the leader. Once you become the leader, you don't know everything, you need to practice hard. Although the eldest brother worked hard, without the guidance of a master, some unique secret techniques were lost when the previous generation of masters passed away. In Kijia village, they discovered spiritual energy that helped them practice, but because of their lack of strength, they were snatched away by others. When he met Huo Yingja this time, Kui Hong felt that this was an opportunity. Kui Yong nodded and said, Huo Yingja asked me to go find him at midnight. Ah, Kui Hong was stunned. Brother, when did Huo Yingja ask you out? I've been sitting next to you, why didn't I notice? Kui Yong smiled bitterly, he used his spiritual thoughts to send me the message alone, so you didn't hear it. Why did he send a message to you? Kui Hong was nervous, did he want to do us harm? Kui Yong smiled bitterly, shook his head and said, this is my first time meeting Huo Yingja, and I'm not sure what he thinks. Kui Ying and Huashan looked at each other, as if they had seen something. Kui Ying said softly, Father, brother-in-law, I don't think Huo Yingja will hurt us. Why? Kui Yong asked. His daughter has known Huo Yingja and He Tian for a long time, and may have a deeper understanding. Kui Hong also looked at Kui Ying and said, tell me carefully. Since father said that Huo Yingja is a very powerful being, many levels higher than us. In this case, if Huo Yingja wants to kill us, it will be easy, just like if we can kill ordinary people easily, Kui Ying explained, because he didn't do that, he probably didn't want to be our enemy. This may have something to do with his status before entering the world. He didn't want others to disturb his current life. Furthermore, what should we do to Huo Yingja? Tian has no ill intentions, and they have no reason to kill us. Kui Yong and Kui Hong's eyes sparkled after hearing Kui Ying's words. Yes, there is no feud between them, so there is no need to fight to the death. Furthermore, although Huo Yingja is an expert, he now has a family and a family in the world, and he just wants to live an ordinary life for the rest of his life. The Sweetness of the Seventies. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 770. 768. If Huo Yingja kills them, his identity may be exposed, and it will also destroy Huo Yingja's original intention of entering the world and practicing cultivation. If you are also fighting against practitioners, it is better not to join the world. They regarded Huo Yingja as a disciple of some hermit sect. Huashan also nodded and said, Master, little master uncle, I think so too. Huo Yingja and He Tian are just ordinary couples, and they have a very good relationship. Even if they call the master over today, they will probably say something that won't let them go. If we go to disturb his family. Kui Yong nodded after hearing this, that makes sense. That's okay, I'll go there tonight. Brother, let me go with you. Kui Hong was worried that something might happen to his eldest brother, and wanted to accompany him there. Kui Yong waved his hand and said, little brother, what is supposed to come will always come. If he wants to kill me, even if you go, you will encounter the same misfortune as me. It's better for me to go alone. If I don't come back, you guys just go back to the mountain. Brother, Kui Hong said hurriedly, it's still. Need not. Master, let me go with you. After all, Huo Yingja and I have been together for several years, and we have some respect for each other. No need, Kui Yong said, if Huo Yingja likes your face, he won't embarrass me if you and Yingying don't go, Kui Yang said. He had thought of all aspects, so he decided to go by himself, can't let others follow. Father, Kui Ying was anxious and about to cry. Kui Yang smiled and said, okay, Yingying, you are already married, and you are still crying, so you are not afraid of our jokes. In fact, you don't have to worry about me. I didn't feel any malice or murderous intention from Huo Yingzhe, so I definitely won't something is wrong. Besides, we have no grievances. In fact, you all know in your heart that you are just worried. Is it really okay? Kui Ying was dubious. Of course it's true. When did father lie to you? Kui Yang said, okay, don't cry anymore. You can wash up and have a rest. Again, no one can follow you, otherwise don't blame me for serving you according to the canon. Yes, master, Huashan said, helping Kui Ying to wash up. After the couple left, Kui Yang solemnly said, if I can't come back, don't think about avenging me. It will only cause greater losses to our Xiaoao section. Hey, brother, Kui Hung sighed, sometimes I don't understand. What are we pursuing? Fighting. Longevity. Wealth. Kui Yang smiled and said, no, the most important thing for us is to live. Only by living can we have what we want and pursue. This is a crisis, but it is also an opportunity. I will definitely go, and so will you. Listen to me. Kui Hung didn't want to agree, but seeing how solemn his elder brother was, he didn't dare to refuse. This is farewell to Twago. I wish they had done nothing more. At midnight, Kui Yang got up and left, while Kui Hung sat and waited in the main room. Huashan, Kui Ying came out of the house. The three of them were silent, waiting for Kui Yang to come back. Kui Yang Jiun used the only complete spell in his sect, flew up and down on the roof of the house, and rushed to Huo Yingzhe's home. 200 meters away from Huo Yingzhe's yard, he stopped under the big elm tree at the entrance of the big elm tree lane and waited. Huo Yingzhe felt the breath, took his arm out from under He Tianatian's head, put on his clothes, and then slowly walked out of the alley. You're here, Huo Yingzhe said softly, with a smile on his face. Kui Yang was stunned. It was very dark just now. He didn't see anyone coming, and he didn't feel anyone approaching. Logically speaking, he should be able to feel someone approaching. However, being so close, Kui Yang only felt it when Huo Yingzhe spoke out. If the other party had malicious intentions, he would have died 8 times. Although he was shocked, he was also glad that this person might not harm his life. Sir, why did you ask Kui to come over? Kui Yang asked softly. Although he wanted to know something about Huo Yingzhe, this was the first time he met alone, so he was still a little worried. Huo Yingzhe waved his hand and set up a barrier. The barrier was as bright as day, and the big elm tree on the edge was also included in the barrier, standing quietly next to the two of them, as if to eavesdrop on their conversation. I should be asking you this, right? Huo Yingzhe asked, isn't it a coincidence that you followed me all the way from Kijia village to Nanji? Regarding such established facts, Kui Yang would never lie. Kui Yang nodded and said, yes, Kui Ying and Huashan followed you to Nanji. This was my instruction, but I didn't go to Kijia village for you. I didn't know you at that time, but I felt when I saw a vision at that place, I asked my brother, daughter, and son-in-law to go there together. Then I discovered something that was beneficial to our practice, but another wave of people got there first. Are you doubting me? Huo Yingzhe asked, squinting his eyes. This man is honest and very shrewd. Yes, because when my brother discovered that the Qi machine was exploring your situation, he was bounced back and almost seriously injured, so he guessed that you might be the one who took those things away. Kui Yang answered truthfully, without any falsehood. Oh, Huo Yingzhe nodded. He knew that sooner or later he would be discovered. Fortunately, these people are not difficult to deal with. You should hate me if I steal your things, right? Although there was some resentment at first, who dares now? My lord is joking, Kui Yong said, those things are not ours, but the things of the owner of the tomb. A virtuous person lives in them. We are unable to get them, so naturally we don't hate others getting them, let alone your lord. You are self-aware, Huo Yingji nodded, you should be glad you didn't get that thing, otherwise death would be your fate. Yes, yes, we don't dare to covet it, Kui Yong quickly assured that the thing was indeed with Huo Yingji. Huo Yingji smiled and said, you don't have to misunderstand, that thing is not here with me, and those things belonging to dead people are of no use to me. You must have also learned from Kui Ying and Huashan about the divine dragon's tribulation. Bar. Huh, Kui Yong was horrified, really, is there really a dragon? Impossible, right? This was beyond his cognition. Although the ancient books of the Xiaoao sect introduced plant and tree spirits, he always thought that it was impossible. What's impossible? Huo Yingji said, humans are also animals and can practice cultivation. Why can't other species? Yes, yes, that's what the Lord said, Kui Yong nodded, then the dragon used that treasure to increase its strength and then successfully overcome the tribulation. Yeah, Huo Yingji nodded. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Sweetness of the Seventies. Author, Chi Sing Cao. Chapter 771. 769. Kui Yong was silent for a long time after hearing this. There was no need for Huo Yingji to lie to him, and his daughter and son-in-law had also told him before. Shenlong. Spirit training? Huo Yingji was someone beyond his knowledge, and he even came from a place he didn't know. Thinking about what his brother, daughter, and son-in-law had said before, there was a big turtle in the yard of Huo Yingji's house, which was also upright and above them. Sir, can you tell me where you are from? Kui Yong asked, his heart full of questions. Huo Yingji smiled and said, come from where you came from and go to where you are going. Obviously, he didn't want Kui Yong to know. Kui Yong was also smart. He guessed that Huo Yingji was better than him, but he didn't expect that it was beyond his imagination. He didn't know how many levels. Sir, you asked Kui to come over for something else, right? Kui Yongyong didn't want to find out Huo Yingji's identity. Huo Yingji didn't want to say it because it was impossible for him to know. He is a smart man, Huo Yingji smiled, since you have no ill intentions towards me and my family, I will not embarrass you, but I have a request. What request? Kui Yong was stunned. From Huo Yingji's words, he could tell that his life was not in danger. Huo Yingji did not speak, but a dozen pieces of paper appeared out of thin air in his right hand. Those pieces of paper floated to Kui Yong like leaves. The scene in front of him made Kui Yong think that his eyes were dazzled. Although he can do Qinggong, he can never change objects with bare hands and send objects through the air, even though they are thin pieces of paper. What is this? After Kui Yong finished speaking, the thing fell into his hands, and he was immediately attracted by the words on it. Huo Yingji smiled and said, it's not a good thing, I just found out that you are practicing Taoist exercises, and I happen to have a copy here. Taoist Kung Fu? Kui Yong was stunned. Oh my god, what their Xiaoao sect lacks the most is this. The masters and brothers were all dead back then, leaving nothing useful. Even if there are some classics, they are all very simple. He couldn't find the technique of his sect at all. Kui Yong studied every word carefully, and there were some pictures beside it to explain the text. I don't know how long it took, Kui Yong finally finished reading, but the back part was gone. Only then did he notice that this book of exercises was not complete and had been torn out from the book. What a waste of resources. Is this skill incomplete? Kui Yong asked, and why did you give me such a precious thing? What do you need me to do? If it is a crime, even if you give us something precious, I won't agree to it. Haha, it's not complete, Huo Yingji said with a smile. Those are just the first 2 levels of cultivation techniques, and there are 8 levels after that. But even if you get them all, you may not be able to practice to the 10th level. I am a law-abiding citizen. What I want you to do is very simple. Ask Huashan and Kui Ying to quit their current jobs, help share her work, and protect her safety when appropriate. Ah, Kui Yang was stunned. That's all. This is too simple. That's all, Huo Yingji nodded. I will give you 1 level every 10 years from now on. Deal, Kui Yang said. They had been searching for decades but still couldn't find it. It would be strange not to agree now that they have such a good opportunity. Huo Yingji smiled and said, I don't want Tian Tian to know about our deal, so you should know what to do in the future. Kui Yang nodded and said, I know, I once lived in the world. It wasn't until my wife passed away that I took my daughter back to the mountain. At that time, I didn't want her to know about me. I just wanted to be an ordinary couple with her. Couple? Yeah, Huo Yingji nodded. That's it? You are a smart person and do things in a measured way. Okay, you can go. Thank you, sir, Kui Yang was excited. This was really pie in the sky. Huo Yingji turned to leave. Kui Yang asked hurriedly, Sir, why did you choose us? It's just because Kui Ying and Huashan are good, Huo Yingji said. Oh, by the way, and you don't have many enemies. Kui Yang Song breathed a sigh of relief, and finally had some smile on his face, and said, Don't worry, sir, Kui will definitely let his daughter and apprentice protect his wife. That's good, Huo Yingji nodded. You also know that I am not in Nanchi sometimes, but it does not mean that I have no control over this place. If you have different intentions, you should know what kind of actions I will take. I know, Kui Yang said yes repeatedly, not daring to hesitate for a moment. Huo Yingji nodded and said, Okay, you can go back. Yes, Sir, Kui Yang nodded and felt happy. This time he saved the day and got a precious skill. After taking 2 steps, Huo Yingji stopped again. Sir, what are your orders? Kui Yang asked, clutching the pieces of paper in his hand tightly, worried that Huo Yingji would regret it. By the way, I almost forgot to tell you that as long as you practice this technique, I will know every move you make in the future, Huo Yingji said. He said it tactfully, but the meaning he revealed surprised Kui Yang. Is there such a mysterious skill in this? Kui Yang was secretly shocked. It turned out to be a hot potato. If he didn't want this thing, he would probably never get it again. But if they do, they will be controlled by Huo Yingji. Haha, humans are very complex animals, and I understand them better than anyone else, Huo Yingji said. Rather than trusting your guarantees, I still trust my own magic. You still have 5 hours to think about it. After noon, the skill in your hand will disappear. Kui Yang was in a dilemma. He had no intention of betraying Huo Yingji, but being controlled by Huo Yingji using this trick was a bit difficult for him to accept. But if you think about it from his perspective, if he were Huo Yingji, he might do the same thing. I can't bear to part with this completed set of exercises. Can't resist this temptation. What he wants to know most now is how many years they need to be controlled. Sir, will this magic trick follow us all our lives? Kui Yang asked. He really didn't want to become Huo Yingji's puppet. Huo Yingji smiled and said, I just want my wife to be safe in this life, that's all. Your lifespan will gradually increase as your skills improve, and you should be able to live longer. When the time comes, I will give you relieved. Oh, that's good, Kui Yang nodded and breathed a sigh of relief. No matter how long it takes, there must be a deadline. He Tian Tian is an ordinary person. Even if she lives a long life, it will only last more than 100 years, which is only more than 70 years. For ordinary people, this period of time is very long, but for practitioners, it is just a part of life. Since they wanted to get the skills but would not betray them, agreeing to Huo Yingzhe was the best result. The Sweetness of the Seventies. Author, Qi Xing Cao. Chapter 772. 770. Huo Yingzhe returned home, looked at his children, and then at his wife. His wife He Tian was like a well-behaved kitten, sleeping sideways on the bed, unaware of her husband's departure. It's like when I dream about something fun, I sometimes laugh muffledly. Huo Yingzhe smiled. What did you dream about? So happy? I must ask him carefully tomorrow, I hope he will be in my dream too. Huo Yingzhe gently put his arm under He Tian's neck. He Tian seemed to have an instinctive reaction and automatically rolled into Huo Yingzhe's arms. She pressed her face against Huo Yingzhe's chest and listened to Huo Yingzhe's strong heartbeat. Sound and continue to sleep. Hey, it would be great if He Tian could practice. But for some reason, He Tian may have been destined to become an ordinary person without the ability to practice because his soul was destroyed in his previous life, leaving only a little bit of essence and blood left. Even if you take various pills to regulate your body, you can at most live longer than the average person. Decades are a long time to speak of, but the days pass by quickly. He Tian will grow old, weaken, and die, completing all the processes a person has experienced. During this process, Huo Yingzhe could only watch helplessly and could only accompany He Tian step by step through this life. However, Huo Yingzhe didn't know where she would be in the next life. Thinking about He Tian, Huo Yingzhe stayed up all night and kept his eyes open until dawn. Kui Hong, Kui Ying, and Huashan were waiting in the courtyard. The three of them did not speak to avoid revealing each other's inner tension and worries. It wasn't until 2 hours later that Kui Yang returned home feeling dizzy. Brother. Father. Master. The three people stood up at the same time and walked over. Are you okay? Kui Yang stepped forward and looked her father up and down. Kui Yang waved his hand and said, I'm fine. Let's go into the house. I have something important to say. As long as his father is fine, it proves that Huo Yingzhe doesn't want to embarrass them. Kui Hong was surprised to see that his elder brother was not injured or tired. Instead, his eyes were shining with excitement. Huo Yingzhe must have told his elder brother something very important. The three people followed Kui Yang and walked in. Brother, what are you going to say? Kui Hong asked, a little confused and eager to know. Kui Yang sat down, looked at the three people in front of him, smiled, took out a dozen pieces of paper from his arms, and said, you guys take a look at this first. Kui Hong is second only to Kui Yang. Take it and take a look. This sight surprised Kui Hong. Kung Fu? It is the most lacking skill in their sect, and it is very relevant to their sect. Is this what Huo Yingzhe gave us? Kui Hong asked excitedly. Isn't this what he has been doing in this world for so many years? However, in the age of Dharma ending, there are no other techniques left. Kui Ying, Huashan had long been stimulated by her father and brother-in-law's words, and her heart was itching, and she was eager to know what was in her brother-in-law's hand. One on the left and one on the right, they stood beside Kui Hong and stretched their heads to look. Yes, this is the Taoist practice that Huo Yingzhe gave us. It is more authentic than the serious practice of our Xiaoao section, Kui Yang said. With these, we can greatly improve our cultivation. The most important thing is this technique doesn't require much spiritual energy. Oh my God, it's so good, Kui Hong asked excitedly. Brother, I can't wait to try it. Huashan, Kui Ying is also very happy. Huashan asked, Master, this thing is very precious. How could Huo Yingzhe give it to us? Kui Hong was stunned for a moment, then quickly recovered and asked, yes, brother, what price do we need to pay? If it was murder and arson, forget it. That will affect their Xingxing. Even if they practice cultivation and live for a long time, they will just be a demon and have no meaning. Kui Yong nodded. Both his brother and his apprentice had good intentions. It was no wonder that Huo Yingji chose them. There will be no pie in the sky. It's rare that you can think of this when you are so excited, Kui Yong said. Huo Yingji made a request to us to protect He Tian Tian, and also asked Ying Ying and you let's go together and help He Tian Tian so that she won't be so tired. Ah, Kui Ying was stunned. Is it that simple? It's that simple, Kui Yong said, but he said that he doesn't want He Tian Tian to know about this matter, so how you resign and how to work for He Tian Tian requires you to think long and hard, and you can't expose your flaws. After Kui Hong heard this, he was overjoyed and said, oh, it's so simple. I thought we had to pay a heavy price. This set of exercises only has 2 levels. Every 10 years, Huo Yingji will give us 10%, Kui Yong said. At the same time, I want to remind you that after practicing this exercise, whatever we think and do, Huo Yingji will give us 10% no. Ah, Kui Hong was stunned. Then, wouldn't we become Huo Yingji's puppets? Kui Yong shook his head and explained, no, they didn't let us be puppets, but they were worried about our betrayal, so they put such a magic trick on it. But at the same time, think about it, to achieve this step, we have to, in my impression, only gods can do this. He can pick up objects from a distance and conjure things out of thin air with his hands. Let me reiterate, I can guarantee that this is not a trick or magic trick of street performers, but a real magic trick. It's a very simple thing to turn us into puppets, there's no need to go to a lot of trouble. Kui Hong considered it carefully. Huashan thought for a while and said, the reason why I went to such great lengths may be because of He Tian Tian. Well, yes, Kui Ying nodded, they are very affectionate. At the same time, Huo Yingji doesn't want He Tian Tian to know about him, but at the same time, he hopes to protect He Tianation's safety and hopes that she will not be so tired. Kui Yong nodded and said, that's what I guessed too. Now you can choose, practice or not practice. Kui Hong was a little hesitant and reluctant to part with it. Kui Ying, Huashan nodded and said, Father, I want to practice. In fact, Huo Yingji's requirements are not high. As long as we don't betray, that's it. There are no other extra requirements for us. Moreover, we have agreed before, make friends with Huo Yingji, rather than offend him. Now that Huo Yingji has extended an olive branch to us, if we don't agree, he may not embarrass us, but he will also have a trick to prevent us from telling this matter. So, why not agree? Master, little master uncle, I agree, Huashan agreed, I don't like working in a museum. Kui Ying smiled and said, I am the same. I deal with those old things every day. Most of them are taken out of the tomb. They have a sense of death and are not good for our cultivation.